This one is pretty bad. The movement is pretty bad.
Honestly, I think you did one that was worse.
You always hope. Awesome.
Somebody to fix it, it's gonna be Peter.
Well, let's see. The fire was November 8, 2018.
Oh, wow. So it's more than a year. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We got a nice, quick, simple, and easy video here today. Basically just an introduction to the possible next restoration you guys will see on the channel. Don't forget, if you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or do any of those wonderful things, all my information is down below. Head over to horologyexchange.com and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. All the deals, all the steals are posted there first. Now, let's get on with the video. So once again, we are opening up this Ziploc bag just as it came to me. This is the first time that I'm really actually putting my hands on it, taking a good look at absolutely everything. And I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of these, I've completed a lot of these, but this is going to be a challenge. As soon as I tried to unscrew this crown, that's when I knew, we got a bigger problem here. Now luckily the pin was not seized here in the clasp, this came right off, and that was a great sign. That shows that not absolutely everything is fully seized. But I mean, just take a look at all of this carnage, all of the burns, the rust, the oxidization. This is one of the worst watches I've ever had to deal with. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm really not. Stay tuned until the end of this video, because there is an absolutely wild story that comes along with this watch directly from the owner. But for now, enjoy it, soak it all in. This watch is nuts. And here we go. Here's the plague. These pins are completely seized. These upper end link spring bars, I mean, they're just done. You guys don't understand the amount of force and pressure I had to do here. And then even pulling the bracelet off. Nice little cloud of smoke came out right there. Insane. Tons and tons and tons of just burned soot, smoke, carnage. It's crazy. Now, as you guys can see, pretty much every piece of literature on this watch is completely illegible. I mean, I can't read anything. I can't make out the serial number, the model number. Obviously, it's going to need to be cleaned, and then those things will become visible again. But I mean, just take a look at the case. So much carnage, so much burning. Even look at the diamonds. I was actually thrown off because these are extremely black. Some of them are still shining, and these should clean right up. But the case back, this is what worries me. And sure enough, my biggest fear became a reality. This thing is completely rust welded shut. All right, we're back. Mr. Overtime himself. But I got a crazier thing for you now. So I've been trying to open this for like 2 days. Hit it with PB Blaster. I have the torque setting, case back opener, everything. Physically cannot get it open. So this is the next restoration, yeah. Have you ever seen anything like that or no?
This is insane. At least the crown can unscrew.
See, but the stem's gone.
But at least
fine.
this came
Yeah,
out,
right?
yeah, it's good. There's
Crazy.
hope.
There's always hope.
Awesome.
I've tried like everything. I put it in the parts heating oven, like a drying oven. I let it sit in PB Blaster. I just don't know. I think maybe the gasket, something. I have no idea. Oh, no way.
Yeah, pull the muscle.
This is the first time that I had this case back open. Right, so by that last clip, you guys saw we finally got the case back open. I literally struggled with it for a solid like 2 days. Let it sit in penetrating fluid. I let it sit basically case back to nothing but evaporust. Nothing was happening. But we got it open. Movement is just toast, no pun intended. Here's a caliber 3135. This is every single part that comes in the movement. And unfortunately, it needs just about everything. I mean, there's going to be a lot of rejeweling, a lot of staking, a lot of cleaning, and basically just a lot of replacing. You know, a lot of these parts just cannot be saved. It's just not possible. We could pretty much save some of the bridges, you know, but most of the wheels, they're just done. They're all gone. You know, there's too much oxidization. Now, I think it was sitting for roughly a year or so. I mean, Gary, once we give him a call, he's the guy who sent in the watch for the restoration. I think it's just been sitting that long that nothing but oxidization has taken place. And as you guys know, I've done quite a few burnt watches. I've done plenty of water restoration watches. This is probably one of the worst that I have seen. Now, a lot of people said, I've seen you do worse. I don't know about that. This one is pretty bad. The movement is pretty bad. Not gonna lie, things are not looking good. Not at all. Can it be restored or not? And I've done plenty of these. But looking at this one, what do you think? I just want an honest opinion.
Honestly, I think you did one that was worse. I don't know how you're gonna do the date.
The day win? Brand new day wheel.
Oh, you're gonna put a brand new date
it's
wheel?
gonna need
Okay.
a ton of new parts.
But you're gonna try to save the
The dial, yeah, 100%. The hands are cooked. Stem,
yeah, hands are done.
bunch of new internal parts, and then probably the dial I would want to keep, but whatever the client
I
wants.
don't know, to my opinion, I don't think the dial is as bad as I've seen you do before.
No, you're 100%
So,
right. The diamonds still shine a little bit too,
I mean, you got one or two that's kind of black.
but I think it'll clean off. I'm gonna have to see. I think it's gonna be a very crazy restoration.
I think so, yes.
Have you seen any of the ones that I've done prior?
I've seen the ones that you've done
Yeah?
prior, yeah. That's why I'm putting the confidence in it. I'm
oh,
saying,
there you go.
If somebody's
That's
gonna fix
it,
it,
yeah.
it's gonna be Peter. I don't know if the dial's gonna be restored though. I think the
Probably
dial's
gonna
gone.
leave it.
Dial's,
Probably gonna leave
you're gonna
it.
leave it like that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
fire.
fucking fire.
101, bro. Come on.
I am a buyer of this when it's restored.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll
Bring
let
it
the
to me.
client know. That's it.
Bring it to
baby.
me.
So this is a caliber 3135. This is pretty much every single part number and every single part in the watch. And Gary's needs a lot of parts. He needs this. Not this. Maybe 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 not. Needs it. 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 This. Not this. Not this. Gary's watch is going to need a ton of stuff, and we're going to try and justify, you know, whether we replace all these parts or do we just put in a new movement and restore the case and bracelet, get a new bezel, crown, stem, everything like that. So I'm going to give Gary a call. I'm going to let him know, because the last thing I want to do is start taking this thing apart and then it can't go back together. It would just make absolutely no sense. So I have to let him know, hey, this is the potential price that we're looking at, or you could receive back nothing but just little individual bags filled with broken, rusted, deteriorated parts. So let's give Gary a call quick and we'll see if we can get this restoration going.
Hey, Pete, how's it going, buddy?
Hey Gary, how are you? You have like a few minutes?
I do.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll basically give you the rundown of where I'm at so far. So it took roughly 2 days to get just the case back off. It was pretty much rust welded to the case. I had to let it sit in some penetrating fluid and we finally got it opened. And unfortunately, as soon as I opened it, it's in complete like disarray. How long has the watch been sitting?
Well, let's see. The fire was November 8th, 2018.
Oh, wow. So it's more than a
it's
year. Wow.
Been sitting that long, yeah.
I mean, some of the screws have literally ballooned, meaning like the rust has just been building and eating away at each other. And it's grown absorbently. And I don't want to take it apart 100% without letting you know. If I do take it apart, like the actual movement, there is a good chance that, you know, if you don't want to go through with it, I can't put it back together, if that makes sense. Just because some of this stuff is so broken, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like that's exactly the case.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that it cannot be restored. Like the case, the bracelet, 100%, I have no issue there. And I kid you not, it needs pretty much everything on this part list for the bottom portion of the movement. The top portion, I presume that I could save, you know, a fair amount of bridges. But I'm going to say, and this is, once again, this is me, this is a ballpark figure. I would say for me to put this movement back together, I'm going to be in the ballpark of like $2,000 or so in just parts, like parts, labor, and everything. Also need, you know, obviously a new crystal, a new bezel. You know, that has to be yellow gold fluted, original there, and then also a new crown and tube. So the tube has pretty much deteriorated. That's not really an expensive part. I'm pretty sure that the crown is savable, but I can't say 100% with certainty until I take this whole movement apart. And I just had to get your confirmation like, hey, yeah, you know what, go ahead and do it, because there's a good chance I might have to drill out some screws just to get some bridges off. It won't do anything, but once again, I have to get your confirmation and your go ahead, you know?
Of course. Yeah, I'm willing to invest that in it, Pete.
Yeah, it won't cost you anything. For me to take it apart, I think it's really cool, but it won't cost you anything, and then at least I could put a real solid concrete number in front of you, and then we could pretty much, you know, figure out if it really makes sense from there.
Okay, sure, that's fine, yeah.
So let's get into breaking this thing down just a little bit. I'm going to save the rest of it for a following video. Now, I just want to show you guys really how hot this fire got. Take a look at the case back. Notice the color. It's going from this golden brown to blue, purple. It almost looks like a piece of titanium, pretty much like a car titanium exhaust. You know, this thing was heat treated, all right? And it was heat treated to the max. Now, you may have heard us before talking about how the crown was actually still unscrewing. However, the stem is just completely oxidized, and unfortunately, more seized parts. There's a piece of the stem still stuck in there. That's definitely going to cause an issue when I try to take the movement out of the case. Pretty much everywhere I turned, everything is so seized. Look at the screw heads. They're all pretty much ready to go. As soon as I put a screwdriver head in there, I have a feeling a lot of these things are going to break. Exactly like I said it, this screw was just completely gone. I got it cleaned off enough, I put the screwdriver in it. It moved a little bit, but the screw head snapped off. Fantastic. Now here was the next issue. This movement would not move in the case at all. So I have to break this barrier of rust between the rehaut and the dial, trying to free up this movement, but it just will not budge. No matter what I do, it's not moving. Now, after walking away from it for about 30 minutes, came back with a clear head and just take a look at all this rust. I mean, this thing was sealed shut with rust. This is just, I mean, it's just not looking good. As optimistic as I want to be, there's just too much going on here. I'm not sure if this is even salvageable. So, I mean, it just looks like problem after problem, but I mean, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth the restoration? Do you think it's even possible? Let me know in the comments down below. You guys won't really know until the next video whether I take this on or not, but just let me know. All right, now we're going to keep on moving around. We don't want to damage the dial, so of course, we're going to protect it, right? Now, these are just, I don't even know. They're Chinese cheap hand puller tools. I use, specific tools for all restorations because I don't care if they break or get damaged. And somehow this thing bent. I don't know if it's just because of the quality or these hands are just, once again, rust welded onto the hour wheel. Cannon pinion, I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's just all gone. The hands are destroyed. They literally blew apart. That's as far as we're going in this video. Let me know if you think it could be done. Hey, how long has the watch been sitting?
Well, let's see. The fire was November 8, 2018.
Oh, wow. So it's more than a year. This is honestly, and I've done some pretty bad ones. You'll see the video. Like, I went around to a bunch of people who know who I am and whatever, and they were like, oh, I've seen you do worse. I've seen you do worse. And I'm not going to lie, this might be one of the worst ones that I've had.
Well, it took a beating. That fire was 50-mile-an-hour winds. They had recorded temperatures over 2,000 degrees.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it was intense.
Dude, insane.
Intense fire.
Insane.
95 people died in that fire. And it moved 8 football fields a minute.
Get the hell out of here. Really?
How fast it went through town. 8 football fields a minute. That's how fast it went through town.
That is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that.
That's a lot. It's a lot. It's craziness. It moved almost 30 miles in just 30 minutes. It just flew.
Dude, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. I honestly had no idea it was that severe, but it would make more sense now because a lot of these wheels in here, which I don't typically see, a lot of them actually melted on themselves. So that would make more sense.
I think it was over 2,000 buildings burned. 95 people died. It's crazy.
Dude, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know it was this severe, honestly. I had no idea.
I've got pictures of me trying to get out of it, having to drive through fire to get out of it.
Oh, my God.
I thought I was dead for sure. If you've ever,
At least you're laughing about it now.
Trying to drive out of this fire.
You're kidding me.
There's so much smoke, I cannot see the end of my hood of my truck, the front of my truck. And so we were bumping up against each other trying to crawl out of it in the fire. And we're only crawling a foot or two at a time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pitch black as it could be. The sun's blocked out from the smoke around us. And I thought for sure I was dead. I thought for sure I was going to get beaten up.
God bless. Yeah, of course. Thank God that you made it out and you're here at least.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's where this watch comes from. It comes from that really nasty, nasty fire.
So the watch is still in fairly decent condition in terms of, like, the case and the bracelet, that'll clean up beautifully. It's just obviously getting it running again. Once I take it apart, I'll be able to say whether it's even worth saving or do we just buy a brand new movement and put that in.
It was something I thought you might talk about, was just putting a whole new movement in it. Because when you initially said it, as old as it is, it might have like the rust mushrooming like you're explaining. So
exactly. So last thing I want to do is attempt to restore it. Yeah. I don't want to restore it and then it has an issue. So worst case, we could just slap a new movement in there and then we could do something cool with the parts. Maybe cast it in resin, just so at least you have something, Oh
yeah, that'd be an interesting story to go along with it. Because that's out of the fire. I have 3 things.
Oh yeah?
This is one of the 3 items I have left from that fire.
Oh man,
Didn't get to pick up my clothes. Didn't get to grab my computer. Didn't get
nothing.
Completely nothing. Clothes on my back. That's all I had. Everything, all my pictures, my entire life. Poof. Real quick.
Well, basically, like I said, I'll just run through it tonight. I'll see what's salvageable. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If not, we just go with a new movement and then restore everything else.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Not a problem, Gary. Speak soon. Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that severe. As far as I knew, I thought it was only sitting for 1 year. Maybe I misheard him. But whatever he was just talking about fire-wise, that is absolutely insane. Guys, count your blessings. Obviously, everything is replaceable, but obviously some things hold more sentimental value than others. I think I speak for everybody. Gary, I'm glad that you made it out of there. That was absolutely a crazy story that I just heard. So I'm not going to put too much of his story in there out of privacy and respect. But Gary, once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I know myself and everybody else watching this, you have to enjoy this type of stuff, guys. You really do. Hopefully we can get this done for him. I would love nothing more for than this watch to go back on Gary's wrist. Now, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Once again, this was just the basic introduction. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow me on Instagram. Once again, if you guys have any questions, looking to buy, sell, or trade, head right over to the website, and I'll catch you on the next one.